final hour of the day, third and final hour of the week. I'm Damien Barling, along with the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, the king of the live stream, Jason Herbert Walker Ross. We, of course, are live on 11:40 a.m. in Northern California. We're live on the KHTK app, and we are live all over the world on KHTK.com. You can watch as well as listen to our Friday programs. Each and every single Friday, we bring you the LoDown live. And again, however you're listening to us or wherever you're watching us from, we greatly appreciate it. We were talking about Shaquille O'Neal. Someone said Google how many fast food chains Shaq owns. Doesn't he own he owns like some 24-hour fitnesses too? Okay. Like
but he's not a spokesperson, like he just owns them. But either way, but yeah. He's doing just okay. Just all right for himself.
Buick, that was the car. I knew he had one. Yep, I knew he had it. Can we try to get Shaqs Net Worth? Like, we could do career earnings basketball-wise, but can we find out Shaqs net worth? Yeah. Like, what do all of these different deals net him?
That'd be pretty staggering to hear that number.
I mean, his career basketball earnings got to be pretty staggering.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, he did well. I mean, he had multiple contracts.
I mean, he wasn't he was around when the influx of money came in.
Right, and he was one of the best players for so long, and he won titles and an MVP and gets all the normal contract things you'd expect. Yeah, he did great. He did great in that realm.
So according to Forbes in 2016, Shaquille O'Neal's net worth was just over $400 million.
Okay. Believable.
The Mike Trout range.
Yeah. Okay. Career earnings for Shaquille O'Neal. Started in 1992, his first contract with the Orlando Magic, $3 million. He finished up in 2010-11 with the Boston Celtics, making $1.3. The highest figure he made, 27.6 million.
Okay.
Career earnings for Shaquille O'Neal. This is basketball money only. You can play along at home.
I'm going to put him at 210.
246.
Christopher Verlod remains the champ as he is closer. $286.3
That's way low.
million.
Where did you get that on?
Sports Track.
Okay.
On LoDownMath.com.
$286 million.
Because you want to get Doug mad is tell him how much he made in his career.
I know.
And then he says, like, that's not close to what I made.
Oh, what do you mean?
He says
it's worse or better?
He says that they're basically adding up if he hit every single incentive ever.
Oh, I
as
see.
part of it.
Oh.
Fake money?
He says it's fake money.
He's got the NFL deal.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird. I searched Doug Christie in this database, and it doesn't come up. He doesn't even register in the Sport Track database.
He played for free.
Maybe Doug didn't really play basketball.
I'm pretty sure I saw him, but I'm not certain.
Could have been an illusion.
Could have been a dream all those years.
Could have been an illusion. I know I saw him in a TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Sister Code. Along with Amber Rose. I saw that. I can't even find a potential Doug Christie career earnings. This feels inappropriate because Doug works here. Now I'm genuinely curious what would frustrate him. Don't mind me. Just talk amongst yourselves. I'm never going to be able to find it on this website. When did Doug retire?
Probably about
06, 07.
Yeah. 06, 07.
Oh, geez. Has an Well, that's an estimated net. Well, I'm not going to. You can Google it for yourself.
He did okay.
He's all right.
Yeah.
So we found whose career earnings we won't say.
Doug's the only one. Doug is the only one who we won't play the career earnings game with. Plus, they're here today, so he's going to walk in the building in a couple of minutes, and he's going to walk through that door.
And you know what? Seattle, such a nice town.
Yeah, right. And Seattle's really beautiful this time
Gorgeous.
of year. Yeah. Chris's favorite place. He's actually going for Memorial Day. Jared Cook signs with the New Orleans Saints, which means he does not sign with the Oakland Raiders. Virginia They
Covering
had
the
a
spread.
scare. They had a scare, but indeed they've covered the spread. Minute 45 left in this 1 versus 16 matchup. Gardner-Webb was up by as many as 14. They were up, I think it was 6 at the half.
At the half, at many as 14, as you said. When they tell that
Now
story,
Virginia's up 21.
do they talk about, we were up 14 on the number 1 team. Hey, how much did you win? We were up by 14 at one point.
I don't even think
but
you
did you
tell
win?
the story.
Yeah. Well, you made the tournament. You got to be
Well,
proud
yeah,
of that.
that's enough. But I don't think you tell the story only because a 16 beat a 1 last year, and it was Virginia.
Yeah.
So no one cares. Like it won't matter because the university now Gardner-Webb is the team that couldn't close the deal.
Yeah.
Because UMBC closed the deal. Tennessee had a bit of a scare. They went on to win as well. Another slate of games is underway. Buffalo up big against ASU. Oklahoma, just an absolute beatdown in their game. Oklahoma led by Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, Buddy Hield.
All of them.
And Kyler Murray.
Adrian Peterson.
Leading scorers there for Oklahoma.
Yeah, they crushed Ole Miss, 95-72.
Yeah, and those are some heavily green uniforms.
Oh, that's Oregon. Yeah, they're always into the multicolor and different.
But there's high definition, and then there's that.
Yeah.
That is ultra high definition. That's like ultra 4K high definition. That's like 6K.
Yeah.
Right there.
How about Buffalo, what they're doing to ASU? I mean, you think about the conferences. The Pac-12 only got 3 teams in. ASU won the other day with Bobby Hurley and Arizona State. But Buffalo's taking it to them. Buffalo being a 6 seed in the tournament. It's pretty good.
Zion and Duke will make their debut later on today. We'll talk about that here in just a heartbeat. If you want to be a part of the show, many ways you could do it. The Jiffy Lube text line at 44-1140. You can also get us on the phone lines, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Of course, that's the Fire Wings hotline. Try one of their delicious 21 flavors of wings today. Fire Wings, just wing it. What's happening, Raymond?
Hey, I heard you say that fantasy is the same as brackets.
It's similar. You invest in stuff you invest in teams or players you normally don't care about.
Well, the thing is, it's fantasy, I think, is silly because you're rooting for individual players in a team sport, whereas in the brackets, you're rooting for teams, and that actually makes sense.
Yeah, okay. That's fine, but like, the point is, like, you're rooting for like Buffalo, right? Because you picked Buffalo.
And
how
you
many
know nothing
times
about
have
it.
you watched Buffalo this year?
Yeah, you do have a point there, but I still think it's completely different just because in fantasy, you're pulling for a player who may be playing against your favorite team, and that's the silly part of it.
That's 100% true too. Raymond, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for listening and thanks for the call. Have a fantastic weekend.
But that's funny though with the brackets too, because wherever if you're in one and you've run across that person that said UC Irvine, we picked them, but I picked UC Irvine to beat Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you got, but what? I mean, you had a hunch, right?
Right. Well, it's like me yesterday bragging that the show goes off the air and I'm 7-0.
Right.
Dude, I just picked teams. Like, I didn't.
Right.
We have acknowledged all year, and everybody does this, just no one else will admit it to you. The NCAA, the college basketball season, with the exception, and this is a lone exception this year, is you were probably watching a lot more Duke or a lot more Zion Williamson. You weren't watching last year. You might have been reading about DeAndre Ayton or Marvin Bagley or Trae Young. You saw a stretch in, was it October, where Trae Young was on fire and was the hottest thing in college basketball, and then it went away.
Mm-hmm.
You're cramming for the test. That's what the NCAA tournament is.
Yeah.
It's cool. I picked UC Irvine because Bob Thornton said to.
Great insight.
Great.
Yeah.
Got it. I picked Tennessee just because, for no reason at all.
And you got them both.
I can't brag if Tennessee wins. It's not like I knew so much that I picked Tennessee. No, man, that's not how this works. And if you say that that's what you did, I'm not going to believe you.
Well, and if this was done the same way in the NBA, so we watch a lot more NBA. We see the Kings all the time. If this was a bracket-style, one-and-done NBA tournament, how do you think you'd do? You'd be going more on knowledge. Doesn't mean you get it right? Yeah. Because if you take the Clark Kellogg, Seth Davis, all the people that are deemed experts in this field, Jay Billis, they'll do brackets. They'll miss games. Mm-hmm. I mean, and they know it. They know a lot better what matchups should work. Doesn't mean they'll get them all right.
Yeah. Does Shaq have Flex Seal? There's a Flex Seal reference here on the text line, and now for some reason all I can hear is Shaq saying Flex Seal.
He wasn't on that boat that they cut out the bottom.
But you can.
You can.
If you have Flex Seal,
yeah.
you can cut out the bottom of the boat and put
which
the
is
Flex
what
Seal on
I
it.
think I might get a boat just to do it.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid do that right after you bungee jump again.
Yes.
It'd be a fantastic idea. So you're pretty much all caught up on the NCAA tournament right now as the games progress, of course. We'll talk more about them. We'll make sure you're up to date on everything that is going on. Zion and Duke will start their tournament run in just a few hours, 2 hours from now to be exact. 4:10, Duke will get underway with their first-round game. And CBS has announced they will have a camera dedicated to Zion Williamson.
Well, I think it backs up what you brought up the other day, that the tournament is about him.
Yep.
There's no other player that's going to have that. There's other intriguing players in this tournament, but everybody, we talked about John Morant earlier. Zion Williamson is the one that's getting a camera solely dedicated to his movements everywhere he goes.
Okay, so I was looking up Shaquille O'Neal Flex Seal. Nothing comes up for that product, but what does come up is he was a host on one of the shows during Shark Week.
Yeah, someone mentioned that here on the text line that Shaq was involved with Shark Week.
What I would love to know what he has said no to.
Is Shaq like the Ryan Seacrest of former athletes, where he just does everything? Like everything. There is not a show that Ryan Seacrest doesn't do.
Right. No, I think so. It's working for him. I don't know how often he has to cut these commercials, but
I ain't mad.
Yeah.
Not mad at all. Yeah, okay, back to the Zion camp. Anything else on Shaq that you'd like to throw in, Chris, before we move along?
Yeah, that's about it.
Have you purchased your ticket to see us for the third time?
Not yet.
I'm not even reading articles on it because I want to see it. Like, I don't want to know anything about it. Like, I want to go see it. And every time I open Twitter or one of my regular websites, there's an article about us. Not us, the movie Us. Although there should be articles written about us.
And Chris has given it enough of an endorsement that I think it's a go see.
Yeah. It's really weird.
You went from good to weird.
I love it.
Okay.
Huh.
It's a good, weird horror movie.
So when you saw it the first time, you were adamant you're going to see it the second time and you're going to see it differently.
Yes.
Are you if you watch it a third time, or when you watch it a third time, do you think it'll be different? Will you find more?
Well, yeah, probably, because with Get Out, it's like that.
I could watch Get Out today and find something.
Yeah, there's always something new.
Yeah.
I only saw it once, and I liked it, so I'm trying to think. I probably would remember or think of it differently.
I saw it once in the theater, and then the second time I saw it was the time I noticed the cereal and the milk. I didn't notice that. Like, I noticed the cereal, like I noticed it, but I didn't think anything of it until the second time I saw it. And then I was like, oh, dude, is that a racist thing she's doing? Like, is that why she's doing that?
Well, then on the other hand, like the first time you you watch it and she's arguing with the cop, like, no, he doesn't have to show you his ID or anything like that. And you're like, oh, wow, she's like really getting in the middle of this, like protecting him. And then you realize, oh, she didn't want a paper trail of him going to the house.
Right.
Type of
you
thing.
Watch it, once you know what happens, you watch it the second time totally differently.
Yeah.
You see things you didn't see the first time. And then it was actually after the second time I watched it is when I read all of the articles on it. And didn't Jordan Peele say the cereal scene was like an like it wasn't planned?
It was a happy accident.
That's so great. That's why I don't want to read all of these articles about us. I want to go see it. Someone asked us on the text line if we had seen it yet. We haven't. Chris has seen it twice.
Twice, yeah.
So
it says thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay.
If you really like horror movies, I think you'll like this.
Okay. Well, with all that said, while we're talking about commercials, it's time to head to Togo's for their original turkey and avocado with a large drink for just $5.95. Maybe I can get a free Togo's for my reads this week.
There you go.
And where I saw us was at the Century Art and Theater down the street. Century Art and Theater, the best spot for your best movies.
Okay.
Think that'll work?
This was probably the last day of the LoDown Live. This was probably the day that they just were like, yeah, you know what? This was a bad idea. This was all a bad idea. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't think you can. I just looked at the cameras. We've got new jerseys hanging in the studio as well. We're finally starting to decorate in here a little bit after living here for I don't know how many years. But we've got, well, you don't have to pay attention to all the numbers, but there's De'Aaron Fox over there and Bagley's here. We got the throwbacks on the back wall. Got a nice little customized KHTK Oakland A's jersey. Our buddy Willie Cauley-Stein over there in the corner. That's good for a few more months.
Coach Cal is our decorator.
Yeah.
Coach
and recruiter.
Yeah. That's solid accuracy. Well, my photographer here, Zoo, he went to Kentucky as well.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he's a Kentucky. He didn't play for Coach Cal.
Yeah,
but he's a Kentucky guy.
There you go.
So we are, and we're big fans of Coach Cal. Is when the one time we talked to Coach about Scal Labissiere, we all enrolled in Kentucky.
He was awesome.
Out-of-state tuition was a bit much for us, but we all wanted to go to Kentucky.
Also, not a fan of their ice cream selection.
No.
Oh, the poop in the ice cream.
Poop in the ice cream. We learned that story.
Yes,
but he was awesome. We've had a lot of good guests on the show. That's one of them. Just because you could see after we talked to him for 10 minutes, why someone would go play for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Now that I think about it, we've got a lot of Kentucky ties. Jeff was Duke, right? Jeff Capel was Duke assistant.
Yeah, well, now he's at Pitt, yeah. And he's been doing some of the college basketball on set stuff here for the tournament. Well,
he's a great mind, man.
Yeah.
And he was the one who told us pretty much unsolicited. Not pretty much. We were talking about Marvin Bagley. He transitioned to Harry Giles, talking about Harry being the greatest high school basketball player he ever saw. For those concerned about Harry Giles and the win last night, 116 to 110, Kings beat the Dallas Mavericks. Harry Giles doesn't appear to be serious. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on it. It's easy for us to say it's not serious. The Sacramento Kings weren't concerned about it. He did leave in the first half, didn't return. Bruised left thigh is the diagnosis for the chosen one there.
Yeah, and a lot of games coming up, so I hope he's ready to go by tomorrow against Phoenix, but they play back-to-back this weekend. They got the Lakers starting a 5-game road trip on Sunday, then right back to Dallas. They play Dallas again on Tuesday. So last night, though, was kind of nice. It went the way it should have. It took a little while to kind of get the comfort and the comfortable lead. I thought Justin Jackson was good.
Yeah.
It's good to see him play so well against the Kings.
I completely forgot about that storyline.
Yeah.
When I walked into the arena, it was like, hey, there's Justin Jackson. It was like, why is Justin Jackson here? Oh, wait a minute. And Harrison Barnes was actually, as he was doing his warm-up with, I think it was Bobby, was barking back and forth playfully.
Yeah.
With some members of the coaching staff. I was like, this is a great storyline I completely forgot about.
Yeah.
But all the storylines went the way of the Sacramento Kings yesterday, especially the Marvin Bagley, Luka Doncic storyline, as Bagley continues. I mean, his games right before his injury and ever since returning have been absolutely phenomenal. 22 points for MB3 last night, 22 points, 12 rebounds. And Jason, as you know, this is probably the most important stat if it's a sign of things to come. And it's his 3 of 5 from three-point range.
He hasn't been shooting the three that well in his rookie season. He's been making them more lately, but he just looks so comfortable. They were in the right flow, and I know we all kind of wondered on draft day when he was selected. I think it was shortly later that night or soon thereafter where Vlade said he thinks he could be a 3.
Yeah.
And that didn't really go over very well. I don't know that he's a 3, but I think the nice thing about him is I think he could play some of that position. I think he could play some 4. I think he could be a 5, like a small ball 5. That's where the NBA is going. I think his ability to rebound at any position and now shoot, if he can catch the ball, square up, and be able to take guys off the dribble consistently to go with that jump shot that's now starting to develop, and the post game's already way developed.
Yeah.
You know, people say, I want to see him go right. I want to see him go right. He went right once or twice last night, but he's got a dominant left hand. I think there's something about lefties that bother people when they only go left. D'Angelo Russell the other night went left all the time. Didn't stop. James Harden goes left a lot. He go right some.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Randolph was here last year, went left all the time. 18 years into his career, 16 years, whatever it is. People didn't stop him.
Bagley and Harry have developed brilliantly during the season, and that's really incredible. Yeah, that is just really incredible. And I know I noted this the other day, but it looks like Harry's body has changed during the season, which it's kind of I think for us, it's just a reminder of how young these guys are. Their bodies are still developing. They're getting into a serious training regimen for probably the first time in their, they've gotten by. I hope you know what I mean by that. They've gotten this far just on natural ability. Now they're here, and not that they don't work at their game, but what I mean is now that they're here, it's like, okay, we're going to take care of some different aspects of your game that you might not be used to. We're going to take care of different aspects of your physique that you might not be used to. Now they're in a training regimen. They're getting more professional diet consultation than they have. And again, if you just look at Harry from game 1 to Harry at what was it last night, 71, to me, a big difference.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm not talking about on the play. I'm just talking about he looks like he's physically changed.
There were times this year where he wasn't playing. He was sent to Stockton, not as a demotion, an opportunity to get minutes. So he was playing in the G League at times, barely playing in other games. Now having a role on this team consistently, he has gotten so much better. And I think by getting the experience for both those guys, now the summer is going to be about the nuance of the game. Like now you've seen everybody, kind of gotten through that. You've been a professional for a year. It's fine-tuning some things already, which I think is far ahead of schedule.
Another storyline that you wanted to keep your eye on this year, J. Ross, your boy, Buddy Hield.
Yes.
He had a nice little night shooting last night. He is 3 3-pointers away from breaking the assistant general manager's 3-point record.
Assistant to the general manager or assistant general manager?
I think he's assistant to the general manager.
Yeah, 3 away from Peja becoming the best 3-point shooter in a single season, at least for the Sacramento Kings. If he also hits that third one, I think he passes Francisco Garcia.
Okay.
To go into 4th all-time in the Sac era. So then it's just Bibby, Mitch Richmond, and Peja. And he's done this pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And just if he hits another 200-something next year, he'll just keep moving up the ladder.
Franchise record is 240, set by Peja Stojakovic back in the 2003-2004 season. We had noted it was pretty cool to see everyone come out and greet Dirk last night. When I mean everyone, I mean Vlade came out, Vivek came out, all during the kind of pregame warm-up routine, as did Peja and a number of other, I know Bobby went over to him, a number of other guys went over and greeted Dirk Nowitzki last night. That was pretty cool to see.
We played something, Deuce had something for us on our pregame, and I would have never guessed this. It was a bunch of guys talking about Dirk Nowitzki. Frank Mason, his favorite player growing up was Dirk Nowitzki. And you're just trying to think, okay, well, maybe a big guy, you would feel the connection. But he said his brother was a fan of Dirk's. It spilled down to him, and that was his favorite player growing up, Dirk Nowitzki.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty. And the crowd was fantastic for him last night, and we had, there was just this really cool. I want to call it a moment, but it wasn't a moment because it went on for like 20 minutes, where Luka Doncic, Dirk, and Kristaps Porzingis were the only 3 Dallas Mavericks warming up on the floor, and there was just kind of a certain, because I didn't expect to see Porzingis last night. Like at no point getting ready for this game did I think we were going to see Kristaps Porzingis. I just didn't think he traveled. But he did a lot more than travel. He went out there and went through a pretty full workout that had to have gone 25 minutes or so. And it was just cool to see all 3 of those guys out there, because obviously Dirk is, sort of passing the torch to those guys in terms of the next era of the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, and he looked really good. Porzingis really did. And you just think about those two as foundation pieces. I'm trying to think what else they need to add to make them make that jump, but just having those two guys, Doncic and Porzingis, healthy for a full season will make Dallas better, but they need more for sure.
It's time to head to athletics.com/tickets. New inventory for opening day is now available. You have sent your letters all week here to Jason Ross at 280 Commerce Circle in Sacramento, California. We have got your mail. Mailbag coming up next here on the LoDown.
Put that baby to bed without a diaper. They killed the penalty. Yes. Just shoot. Oh. Well, they don't have the puck.
Ron Burgundy there on the call for the Kings and the Sharks yesterday. By the way, no one actually scored a goal. That was a hypothetical goal call.
Right.
No one actually scored.
Put the baby to bed without a diaper.
That's it, because nothing signifies scoring a goal like
that's the way you do it.
Putting a baby to bed. He really gets into that character, man.
Yeah.
He really gets into that character.
Yeah, he owns it.
When he's in, he's all in.
Yeah. I love Ron Burgundy. I'm Ron Burgundy.
The fact that you looked at the camera as you did that, like, I just can't. Cody.
Hi, Cody.
Chris is getting a winner. I feel like Cody's mic isn't turned up.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, maybe now.
Check it.
There you go.
Check it.
All right. Welcome in. Microphone check us. Swing us wood sector.
We here.
Cody's here, which means the mailbag is underway. We have taken all your letters. Cody opened many of them earlier in the week. I think she noted
Got some paper cuts.
VHS came through for some reason. Her brother sent a VHS of I think it was Vontaze Burfict's greatest hits.
Oh,
something like that.
Greatest hits.
Not in an official NFL release,
Yeah.
but
Is that
it was
his mixtape?
it was indeed. It was sent our way. We have poured through these letters, and here is what we have gotten to. Cody?
Joel Embiid said he's the most unstoppable player in the NBA. Is he right?
Well, I'm going to answer that in just 1 second
Quarterback.
because the Raiders have signed Mike Glennon to be
Who?
the backup quarterback
There you go.
for Derek. There you go.
Yeah.
Like is this an applause signing?
Yeah, that's an upgrade. It's
Well,
not
it's
Nathan Peterman.
I was going to say it's an upgrade over
Yeah.
Nathan Peterman. Mike Glennon, once the most sought-after backup quarterback in the NFL, started for like 6 minutes, and everyone realized, whoops,
He's a backup.
my bad,
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Was it the Bears?
Bears signed
Let's
him.
go through with Mitchell
Yeah.
Trubisky instead.
Cardinals signed him then
I don't remember that.
last year. He was there with Rosen and Bradford. And then
Wow.
I don't know if he got cut or it just never materialized, but yeah.
Mike Glennon. They lost Jared Cook, but
I'm so upset about that.
they got Mike Glennon.
Shut up.
Stay healthy, Derek Carr is what the answer is.
That's pretty much always the answer, unless of course you're Mike Glennon and then
Right.
Mitchell Trubisky starts.
Yeah.
Okay, Cody's. She said Joel Embiid said he's the most unstoppable player in the NBA. Is he right? He's not wrong. I'm Ron
What?
Burgundy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
what?
not wrong. He's pretty damn dominant. I can't think of someone who is like truly unstoppable. Maybe Steph from like 32 feet when he gets hot and he starts feeling it. Maybe that's the one true unstoppable player. I'm not going to say the dude in Houston. I mean, he's up there.
He's up there, but he's not the most unstoppable.
Do you know definitively who the most unstoppable player is?
I honestly think it's probably between two people right now, and it's not LeBron
Russell
anymore.
Westbrook and who?
James Harden.
Okay.
And honestly, I think it's Kevin Durant.
Okay.
But I don't think he's in that mode all the time with the Warriors, nor does he have to be. But honestly, how do you even?
We never see that from him. Well, James Harden we can see.
He's
Steph we can
unstoppable.
see.
Yeah.
Kevin, I feel like never does it.
Well,
Could
he
he?
has to, yeah.
I feel like he
But
just
you can't guard him.
No,
You can't.
Right.
He's just unstoppable.
What do you think?
I'm going to go no.
No, with Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
I
real
mean-
answer is Kosta Koufos, the Coast Office.
The Coast Office, absolutely.
Coast
I mean, the only
Office.
thing that stops the Coast Office is a DNP.
That's right.
That's
His
it.
performance against the Celtics, though, is
It was
insane.
incredible.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
37 points and 22 rebounds is the only player in the NBA to do that this year.
Yeah, he's
nice.
Yeah, he can go. And I get it. He had been tired of hearing the noise about the Boston Celtics. So he wants to say, y'all think you can stop me? Dude, I'm the most unstoppable. But that's his personality, and that's one of the reasons you and I really love him. What's next?
Is Shohei, help me with the last
Ohtani.
name, Ohtani, a more interesting angel than Mike Trout?
I was really intrigued by him last year, and he had some really good moments. I don't think he's more interesting. I like it's not even a gimmick because he's good at both, good at pitching and hitting, but Trout's the best player in baseball.
Yeah, I agree.
So-
and that's hard coming from a Yankees fan.
Yeah.
But I agree. Mike Trout is just his offense, his defense, he's just incredible, and he's proven it year after year.
Yeah.
It's not like he's slowed down at all or anything. But it is cool to see a pitcher be able to hit like that. You don't see that often. But Mike Trout.
But is being the best make you interesting?
Right. I think it's adorable how you're both wrong.
Okay.
Shohei Ohtani is significantly more interesting than Mike Trout.
So you stop what you're doing when he's.
I told you that last year.
Yeah.
It was the injury that derailed. I was watching Shohei Ohtani. If he was pitching, I was interested.
Okay.
When he wasn't and he was hitting, I was interested. Mike Trout, unless he's going on some sort of historic run, and I know there are a lot of numbers that suggest that he is, but let's put some of those numbers into context. His home run pace is ahead of Barry Bonds right now compared to where Barry Bonds
Right.
was. I think, walks are ahead of Barry Bonds, and his hits are ahead of Pete Rose's pace. Pete Rose, I can't speak on. Barry, we all know what Barry did at the end of his career. He was not a home run hitter in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he just hit home runs.
Not to the way he was when
Kinda
he became
like Trout.
a San
I don't think
Francisco
Trout
Giant.
is either. He hits them.
Which is why he's on pace to what Barry Bonds was doing when he was a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Right.
In about 6 years, he's not going to be on pace to Barry Bonds anymore.
He's got to start hitting 50+.
And if he is, I'm going to have some questions.
Yeah.
So it's not a knock on Mike Trout's skill. He just doesn't interest me.
Mm-hmm.
Shohei Ohtani does. To me, Shohei Ohtani is must-see TV because of what you both just mentioned.
Have you seen some of Mike Trout's defensive plays out there in the outfield? Have you seen those?
Yeah, when I tuned in to see Shohei Ohtani,
I'll send you a mixtape.
I'll
send you a mixtape of his highlight
Have
reel.
your brother send me a VHS
All
like
right.
he did you, please.
It's on the other side of the perfect tape.
You don't flip VHSs over.
how
You're
I did
thinking
it.
of a cassette
No,
tape.
that's how I did
That's
it.
why you broke so many VCRs as
No,
a kid.
that's how I did it.
Yeah.
That's how you rewind it,
Yeah.
right?
No.
Yes.
You had to have a special machine to rewind it.
Sounds like
you
that.
had a VCR to play, and then you had that machine that rewound tapes
You
really
were
quick.
one of those people?
Be kind, rewind.
That's it. We didn't have a
Kind of
separate.
rewind.
How awful was that when you went to rent a VCR or tape
And the
and it
person
wasn't
before,
rewound and you're just like, oh my God.
You know what
you
was?
wasted 5 minutes of my life.
You know what was awful? You know the worst feeling in the world was at the time? When you go to the video store and there's nothing behind the box.
Right.
Like it's not
movie you
there.
wanna
The
see.
movie you had waited
Yeah.
all week to go get.
And it's gone.
It's not there.
What
You
an
see that box with nothing behind it.
What an experience that was, just going to Blockbuster.
It was.
Finding the movie, hanging out,
Just a
picking out your popcorn and the...
just
It was
brilliant marketing with all that stuff right
Yeah.
there at the front. And of course, there's a portion of the audience like, what the
What
hell
is
are
this?
these three
What are you
talking about?
Yeah.
What is
What's a
Blockbuster
Blockbuster?
Video?
I think
Hollywood
the last
Video.
one closed. Like, not
Yeah, it
too
was like
long ago.
last year. Or
I
2
just
years
went
ago.
all in. Bought a bunch of stock. Bad idea.
Actually, we just found out Shaq owns all of
Oh.
Blockbusters.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Will there ever be like things come back in cycles? There won't be a
Those-
retro video store.
No,
ever,
because
will
there's
there?
nothing cool about it.
Now
It's
there's
not like
little-
vinyl. Like
Right.
vinyl has a unique sound to it. Like no one, I can't watch standard definition television.
Right.
Like it's just like, dude, I would if you told me tonight Us is on, you can go home at your house and watch Us. You just have to watch it in standard definition. Like, dude, no,
You'd pass.
I'm not sitting through that. My eyes couldn't. It set my eyes back 15 years if I did that.
When I was in Austin, I walked by the world's largest video store. And
Was
all
it
they had-
still open or was
Yeah.
it just a museum?
It's videotapes. That's where you get your videotapes.
I'm still
A
surprised that.
museum of TVs. Like,
Tim-
we're not that far in the future.
No, I disagree. There's got to be a television museum somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure there
Yeah.
is.
I think so.
I forgot what I was going to say, so let's just go to the next question.
Okay.
I'll think of it in the middle
Oh,
of
yeah.
our next answer, and I'll just go back to it.
Sounds good.
That's normally what we do.
A more interesting playoff race, the top of the Eastern Conference or the bottom of the Western Conference?
I think it's the bottom of the Western Conference because we went through this earlier. It was Oklahoma City, Utah, Los Angeles, and San Antonio. They all have I think it's 42-30 record right now. Maybe they won't say this out loud. Maybe they don't say this to each other. Maybe they're just like, F it, we could do anything against anybody. They don't want to play Golden State. And I don't know that they even want to deal with Denver in the first round. I think there's a fight to get the 5th and 6th. It's not like, hey, guys, we're in. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to be fine. We'll do our business there. I think they want to avoid those 7 and 8 spots because I don't think Golden State for sure. I think Denver's in that group too that they don't want to play. So they're fighting there's 4 teams fighting for those 2 spots.
Yeah, I think it's the bottom of the West too because the top of the East, I do think it's interesting, but most likely all of those interesting matchups, real interesting, will be in the second round. So having to wait around to see if the top 4 that we think will be the top 4, one of them may get upset. We're waiting a whole nother round. I think it's the bottom of the West right now. It's more intriguing to see exactly what you said, Damien, the matchups that they'd have to worry about.
Yeah, bottom of the West, all tied 42-30.
Just the disrespect
What?
For the Eastern Conference here.
Yeah.
With a 53-19 Milwaukee Bucks, a 51-21 Toronto Raptors. But then you've got Philadelphia, Indiana, and Boston competing for those 3, 4, and 5 spots.
Yeah, but if Boston gets to 4 and the rest plays out 5 through 8, the real compelling matchups to me are 1 through 4, and they don't happen until the second round.
Yeah, I feel bad for Indiana because it finally happened.
Yeah.
It felt like it thought just for the briefest of seconds, maybe it won't.
Yeah.
But it did.
Are the Warriors going to slip out of first place?
They're hanging on. I mean, Denver, they still play each other one more time, and that'll be at Oracle, which will be an interesting. I think it's early April for that one.
Denver's won 5 straight, by the way. They've won 5 straight. We'll step out. We'll come back. More of the mailbag, including Andrew Luck and Des Bryant. That's next.
Damien and Jason, back to you.
Yeah, I had mentioned this a little bit ago, but forgot to follow up. We mentioned the 25th anniversary of Above the Rim. It's also the 20th anniversary, Jason, of the famous Stone Cold Steve Austin beer truck moment on Monday Night Raw.
You're telling me?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Do you remember watching that live? You remember watching the famous beer truck?
I was on tape.
It's often
on the other side of the tape.
Yeah. It's often referenced as the greatest moment in Raw history. I disagree. The Rock is involved, but it's
You don't like The Rock?
Love.
Excuse me?
Oh.
Have we met?
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, I am a fan of The Rock. I'm going to show Jason the beer truck here on the live stream. This,
wow.
Again, back in 1999, one of the most famous moments in Monday Night Raw history, as he just sprays The Rock and
Is that Vince?
And Shane McMahon with the beer truck. This moment was actually reenacted at the Arco Arena when Kurt Angle drove a milk truck out to Arco Arena and did a similar deal in which he sprayed a hose full of milk at Stone Cold Steve Austin. So
Well
now
done.
you're caught up,
Yeah.
Cody, Jason, on one of wrestling's biggest moments, and it involved Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock 20 years ago today.
The best part about that is him spraying Vince and Vince on the ground.
Swimming?
And he's trying to swim.
Absolute best.
At what point did it transition from Stone Cold was a bigger star at the time than The Rock, right?
I think Stone Cold was always a bigger star than The Rock.
Always?
As much as I hate to admit that.
It never
yeah.
switched?
No.
I mean,
They were
now it has, but I mean.
They were like two massive stars at the same time, but it always felt like Steve was a little bit above. I don't like it. I don't like admitting that, but I think Austin was the guy. That shirt that he's wearing made like tens of millions of dollars.
Wow. Where did you say this was again?
316. WrestleMania was in Philly that year. I don't know where this exact moment was, but I know it was. And Vince is so great. Like, look at him. He's soaked in beer. This is such a great moment. This is so good. How excited. Look at The Rock. Huh? Look at the People's Champ. That's the Scorpion King right there.
He was the corporate champion at the time.
I apologize. That's right. He was the corporate champion. Are you going to go home and watch some Stone Cold Steve Austin highlights now?
Absolutely.
But to answer your question, it never switched. It was always Steve Austin.
Okay.
I'm actually probably going to do that this weekend. We had a listener send us over some DVDs of the best of Steve Austin and Mick Foley, so probably check that out.
Okay. Well, enjoy that.
Or I'll see us again.
Yeah, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up the mailbag here, Cody.
You mentioned Above the Rim debuted 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite basketball-themed movie?
Jason?
Let's see. White Men Can't Jump. I like Semi-Pro.
Sometimes when you win, you actually lose.
Yeah. Semi-Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I like. Chris would probably say Teen Wolf.
That's a basketball movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's probably my list.
Okay.
Basketball.
No, I noticed Hoosiers is not on your
I
list.
didn't put it on there, but White Shadow is the greatest basketball TV show. Love the White Shadow.
Was that Reggie? What was that?
No. That's way. This.
Oh, that was Hang Time.
Yeah, Hang Time.
Working together, hang time.
Why do you know that?
I was a kid when that show was on.
Blue Chips was good.
Space Jam.
Oh, nice. I didn't even think
Have you
of
seen that
this.
recently?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
I saw it relatively recently.
Why?
It has not aged well. The worst part about it is Michael Jordan.
Yo, Michael's
Yeah.
really bad. He's really,
How about
really
Hoop
bad.
Dreams? It was a documentary, but that was really
That
good.
came out around the same time
That was
as
good.
Above the Rim did.
Yeah.
No, that was good too.
Yeah.
Is yours is Space Jam?
Mhm.
That's a good one. I didn't
Semi-pro.
What's the Love and
Basketball?
Yes.
That's a great movie.
That's the one.
Okay.
Sanaa Lathan. I have wanted to marry Sanaa Lathan for a very long time. Ever since
Love and
I
Basketball.
saw since The Best Man. When I don't remember if I saw The Best Man first or Love and Basketball.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Have you seen the second Best Man?
Yeah, Best Man Holiday?
Yeah. I refuse to watch that.
Why?
Because of what happens. I sniffed out what was going to happen at the very beginning because I saw The Best Man 1,000 times when it came out. And I sniffed out what was going on at the beginning of that movie, and I watched it knowing what was going to happen. And then when it did, I was just like, I'm never watching this version again.
Okay. I enjoyed it.
Underrated basketball
horrible.
movie.
I hated it.
Celtic Pride.
Is that
Did you say
Whoopi?
Underrated or low rated? No,
Underrated.
That's Daniel Stern.
Damon Wayans.
Oh, no, Eddie.
Eddie.
Eddie is Whoopi. That's the one. She's the coach of the Knicks.
Yeah.
Right? Of course she'd be. They'd probably sign her now.
Phil Jackson hired her.
Phil, he did. On the bus. They were
Yes.
riding the bus together, and Phil hired her. Cody, what's next?
With the team improving around him, does any quarterback have more pressure on him than Andrew Luck?
Obviously, all quarterbacks have a ton of pressure on him, but I think Andrew Luck has always been like he was looked at as the second coming. He was the next guy. And he's lived up to the expectations in terms of we saw what the Indianapolis Colts were without him. And we know what they are with him. And it was a very Peyton Manning effect. Peyton Manning with the Colts, Peyton Manning without the Colts. And hell, you can use the Denver Broncos as an example as well. I understand that Cam Newton has pressure. I understand that Derek Carr has pressure. But Andrew Luck, I think, is looked at differently than those other quarterbacks. So I would say, I don't know that there's a quarterback that has more pressure on him heading into this season than Andrew Luck.
I feel like there's probably someone else, but I don't know. I don't know the answer off the top of my head. There is a lot of pressure on him, where they are, how they've invested in the team around him, the money they're going to still spend, I think, this offseason, and what they did last year around him. So, yeah, I think that's a good answer.
I'm actually going to go with Derek Carr here. I just think with the addition of Antonio Brown and Tyrell Williams and then adding to their offensive line, with Trent Brown, he is getting that coverage he needs and then whatever's to come in the draft. So, I don't know.
I wonder what the barometer, that's a fair point, but I wonder what the barometer is for Derek Carr, because I think for Andrew Luck, he's got to start winning in the playoffs, like to the